Hello there, how's it going? In this video, we will look at chapter 14 of the book Atomic Habits, how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. We have already talked about the first two sections of it, so in this one, we will actually end the chapter only by reading the ending paragraph as well as the chapter summary. So let's begin. When working in your favor, automation can make your good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. It is the ultimate way to lock in future behavior rather than relying on willpower in the moment. By utilizing commitment devices, strategic one-time decisions, and technology, you can create an environment of inevitability, a space where good habits are not just an outcome you hope for, but an outcome that is virtually guaranteed. Hmm. In this chapter, he goes actually a few steps further into how to actually guarantee your good habits. And yeah, we have talked about environment design, priming our environment, but here we are talking about making decisions for the future so that you cannot back out. Those are commitment devices. And he also talks about automation, how we can use technology to leverage good habits. Let's look at chapter summary. The inversion of the third law of behavior change is make it difficult. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that locks in better behavior in the future. The ultimate way to lock in future behavior is to automate your habits. Using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. Now we are done with chapter 14. Let's start a brand new section. Make it satisfying. Make it satisfying. We are done with make it easy. This is the last part of the last step that completes the habit loop. Make it satisfying. chapter chapter 15. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Let's begin. It is a lot easier for people to adopt a product that provides a strong positive sensory signal, for example, the mint taste of toothpaste, than it is to adopt a habit that does not provide pleasurable sensory feedback like flossing one's teeth. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. This is entirely logical. Feelings of pleasure, even minor ones like washing your hands with soaps that smell nice and lathers well, are signals that tell the brain, this feels good, do this again next time. Pleasure teaches your brain that a behavior is worth remembering and repeating. Yeah, very good idea. Although these feelings, I would say, they affect on the subconscious level, but deep down those things, when something feels good, even at the minor level, we are more likely to do that thing again because there is no reason to not do it. It feels good, I can do it again. But something does not feel good, for example, is flossing one's teeth. Here he is comparing it with toothpaste. Then yeah, if it doesn't feel good, then we have to decide to do it again. To make something more easier to do, it has to feel good, right? Conversely, if an experience is not satisfying, we have little reason to repeat it. In my research, I came across the story of a woman who had a narcissistic relative who drove her nuts. In an attempt to spend less time with this egomaniac, she acted as dull and as boring as possible. Whenever he was around, within a few encounters, he started avoiding her because he found her so interesting. Hmm. Well, that's one way to put it. If some people are annoying you, try to be as boring as possible. Do not react. to what they are saying. The more you react, the more they will say. Just don't react. So, there are two sections: the mismatch between immediate and delayed rewards. The human brain did not evolve for life in a delayed return environment. The earliest remains of modern humans are approximately 200,000 years old. These were the first humans to have a brain relatively similar to ours. You are walking around with the same hardware as your Paleolithic ancestors. Hmm. Well, he's making a point that you are an animal brain. You are not different compared to the caveman from the past. You have the same brain of a caveman, but you are living in a very modern technological environment where we have television, social media, endless entertainment, video games, junk food, all of this with the click of a button whenever we want. We are cavemen living in modern times, and there's and okay, so I don't know what else to say. He's making a strong point here. Compared to the age of the brain, modern society is brand new. The last 100 years, we have seen the rise of the car, the airplane, the television, the personal computer, the internet, the smartphone, and Beyonce. I don't know why he has put Beyonce, honestly, just to be funny, I guess. The world has changed so much in recent years, but human nature has changed little. Very powerful idea, very powerful idea. You must realize that you are not, only the world has changed around you, not you. You are the same person if you were born, let's say, 1,000 years ago. So it's just a society that has changed, not people. Our ancestors spent their days responding to grave threats, securing the next meal, and taking shelter from a storm. It made sense to place a high value on instant gratification. The distant future was less of a concern, and after thousands of generations in an immediate return environment, our brains evolved to prefer quick payoffs to long term ones. Exactly. Who wants to lose? Everyone wants to lose weight, right? But when it comes to going to the gym, that will always be the second option. Mostly people will prefer to not go to the gym. That's the idea. We prefer to not work. If we have a choice to work between working and not working, we will always choose. I mean, most of us will choose to not work. Most of us. And that's the idea. We don't like to work. You value the present more than the future. Usually this tendency serves us well. A reward that is certain right now is typically worth more than one that is merely possible in the future. But occasionally our bias toward instant gratification causes problems. Yeah, very good idea. Well, there is a good side to instant gratification. I mean, like how we read it here. Our ancestors spent their days responding to grave threats, securing the next meal, and taking shelter from a storm. So, yeah, you must value the present, but if all you do is to value the present, then your future might not be good. Why would someone smoke if they know it increases the risk of lung cancer? Very good idea. Why would someone smoke if they know it increases the risk of lung cancer? I mean, every smoker knows. The only reason they smoke is that it feels good in the moment. It feels good in the moment. As when they are smoking, it feels good. And they just don't want to get rid of this feeling, even if it shortens their lifespan, because they don't care about the future. Why would someone overeat when though it increases their risk of obesity? Same idea, it feels good. Remove the feeling, remove the behavior. It feels good, and people get addicted to the feeling and they don't care what happens in the future. Again, so let's see what he says next. Once you understand how the brain prioritizes, prioritizes, once you understand how the brain prioritizes rewards, the answers become clear. The consequences of bad habits are delayed while the rewards are immediate. Smoking might kill you in 10 years, but it reduces stress and eases your nicotine craving. Overeating is harmful in the long run, but appetizing in the moment. Exactly. You would see if you look around every product that is successful, like let's say Coca Cola or KFC, they actually thrive on these bad habits because they understood how our brains are wired and they built their brand around those ideas. Very powerful, right? Every habit produces multiple outcomes across time. Unfortunately, these outcomes are often misaligned. Every habit produces multiple outcomes across time. Unfortunately, these outcomes are often misaligned. With our bad habits, the immediate outcome usually feels good. Exactly. Why would someone perform a bad habit at all? Why would they do it? Just think about it. Just because it feels good. That's it. That's it. But the ultimate outcome feels bad. With good habits, it is the reverse. The immediate outcome is unenjoyable, but the ultimate outcome feels good. Yeah, so when talking about good habits, he's saying it is the reverse. The immediate outcome is unenjoyable, but the ultimate outcome feels good. But I would say that's the misconception. That's how most people look at good habits. But as you read this book, or design your good habits in a way that they are consistent with your life, I believe you can make good habits very good, very enjoyable. I would say very enjoyable, or at least not as unenjoyable as you hoped for. But yeah, I get the idea. At least in our mind, it's there is mental resistance, right? We don't want to do it, although we know we have to do it. It almost always happens when the immediate consequence is favorable, the latter consequences are disastrous, and vice versa. Often the sweeter the first fruit of a habit, the more bitter are its later fruits. Yeah, it's someone's quote. I didn't write their name. But yeah, the more enjoyable something feels, you have to question it, right? Is it good for me? The brain's tendency to prioritize the present moment means you can't rely on good intentions. When you make a plan to lose weight or to learn a language, you are actually making plans for your future self. And when you envision what you want your life to be like, it is easy to see the value in taking actions with long term benefits. We all want better lives for our future selves. However, when the moment of decision arrives, instant gratification usually wins. You are no longer making a choice for future you are choosing for present you, who wants to be full, pampered, and entertained. As a general rule, the more immediate pleasure you get from an action, the more strongly you should question whether it aligns with your long term goals. Yeah, so as I said, in the present moment, we don't want to do it. We always delegate our tasks to the future version. And when the future arrives, We either delegate it further to tomorrow, or when we are close to a deadline, we perform it half-heartedly. We don't, nobody enjoys work, right? I mean, most of us, not the unsuccessful people. Successful people, yes, they have to rewire their mind to enjoy hard work, because in order to become successful you have to do a lot of work. If your brain is not wired correctly, you can't do it, as we talked about in chapter 2. Let's look at chapter 2 again. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. 3 layers of behavior change. The third and deepest layer is changing your identity. If you don't change your identity, you will never become successful. You have to rewire your brain. You have to understand that in order to become successful, my life will not be fun anymore. I mean, for several months, I can enjoy the hard work. That's the idea. The enjoyment, the pleasure has to come out of hard work. I can't I can't indulge in the normal activities of most average people. That's the idea. Jim Rohn said, in order to make above average living, you have to live like an above average person. Very powerful idea. And in order to become successful, your pleasure has to come out of work. After you finish your work, you have to feel good about it, not feel bad. That's the idea. Let's update the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded, it is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. So I think we will end this video on this section, and in the next one we will begin, because the video is getting longer and I don't want to spend more on just one video. So I guess this is it. The chapter is very good. There are a lot of lessons to learn from this. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.